Welcome to PGSaquatics. I'm Scott, and plumbing an aquarium with PVC can be a daunting challenge. In today's video, we're going to go over some tips and tricks along with some specialty plumbing fittings to help you with your next aquarium plumbing job. When doing a professional plumbing job on an aquarium, the primary goal is to get water from the sump up to the aquarium and back down to the sump. This sounds pretty easy, but there are a lot of ways for things to go wrong. And using the right parts and plumbing techniques will save you a lot of headaches. To begin with, let's talk about the difference between Schedule 40 and Schedule 80 PVC. A PVC schedule has to do with the thickness of its walls. Let's take a minute and take a look at two 1-inch unions. The white one is Schedule 40 and the gray one is Schedule 80. As you can see, the Schedule 80 union is made from a much thicker PVC and is a much beefier union. Both unions fit a standard 1-inch PVC pipe. Schedule 40 and Schedule 80 are designed to work together. Schedule 40 PVC will have a thinner wall than Schedule 80, but both pieces of pipe will have the same outside diameter, allowing for standardized pipe sizes. This basically means you can use any 1-inch PVC together and it's gonna work. The advantage of Schedule 80 is it's thicker and more durable. The downside is it costs a little bit more.
For aquariums, I like to use Schedule 80 unions and valves. They're stronger and less likely to crack or break when mechanical force is applied to them.
When hard plumbing an aquarium, the use of unions is almost a must. It is possible to hard plumb an aquarium without the use of a union, but the day you have to service your plumbing, you will wish they were there. So what is a union fitting and how does it work? A union is a plumbing junction point, allowing you to put two pieces of pipe together and easily take them apart. They come in both threaded and slip fitting and allow you to simply unscrew one piece of pipe from another. I like to use unions on the inlet and outlet of externally plumbed pumps, on manifolds next to non-union valves so they can be easily replaced, or on any piece of plumbing that might have to be removed in the future. Next, let's talk about valves. There are two main types of valves, ball valves and gate valves. Ball valves are great for turning water on and off, but they're not good at regulating water flow. If you try and use a ball valve to regulate water flow, it can work, but you might find it difficult to fine-tune the flow. If your goal is to regulate flow, gate valves slowly turn down a gate as you turn the knob, allowing for easy fine-tuning of flow. They can be used to turn water on and off, but it takes a long time to turn the gate valve all the way down. I highly recommend gate valves for any purpose where it's necessary to fine-tune flow. Gate valves tend to cost a little more than ball valves, but they're well worth it. Next up are check valves. Check valves are often used on the aquarium's return line. This is the pipe that supplies water to the tank. The primary purpose of the check valve is to only let water flow in one direction. When the aquarium pump shuts off without a check valve, water will siphon back through the tank's inlet. If the inlet is too low in the water, it's even possible for your sump to overflow. Having a check valve in line will prevent this from happening. At PGSaquatics, we use two different styles of check valves. We have the ball style, which is basically a ball that moves up and down through the valve, and we use a flap style, which when water flows up, it's pushed out of the way, and when water tries to flow down, it stops the water from flowing. The clear valves are amazing because you can see the water flow through, you can see that the check valve's working perfectly. The ball valve is a bit more reliable. Both are really effective and will do their job really well for you. At PGSaquatics, we use spears, valves, and plumbing fittings. Spears are made in America, they're high quality and made for commercial applications. If you've ever used an inexpensive valve, you'll know that over time they freeze up, they break, and they will cause you problems in the long run. In our experience, spears is a long-lasting, high-quality valve that we use on all our commercial installs and applications. Now, to kind of demonstrate good and bad plumbing, let's take a look at my own personal system. If you're familiar with my system, I have a 210-gallon reef tank with basement, sump, and filtration and frag tanks, and it's all plumbed together as one. I plumbed this together about 4 years ago before I really knew what I was doing with plumbing. So let's go through and talk about some of what I like about my plumbing and some of what I don't. To begin with, let's take a quick tour of the plumbing on this system. So the water feeds to this reflow pump up to a manifold, and this manifold is designed to allow water to feed to my skimmer and down to this reactor. And from there, it feeds up to my frag tanks, and then from the frag tanks up to the main display upstairs. Once it comes down, it follows the drain all the way across and back down to the sump. One of the things I got really right was my 2 return pumps each have unions on them. That way they can be easily removed and serviced. Now I run 2 return pumps, and one of the return pumps is a built-in backup. So if a pump fails, I'm able to turn a couple of valves, plug a new pump in, and be running with minimal effect on the system. Continuing with unions, I added a union on the line that feeds my frag tanks. This way I can easily remove that entire PVC line in case I need to swap out tanks. When it comes to unions, if you don't know if you need one, personally I'd put one in because it'll probably come in handy someday. Next, let's talk about ball valves. In most cases, I use my ball valves correctly. They're used to turn water on and off. But I do have a couple places where I'm trying to control flow to a reactor or to frag tanks where I really should have used a gate valve. A gate valve is much better suited for controlling flow. Also, the type of ball valve I used really wasn't the best. They're Schedule 40, they're the inexpensive hardware store style, so over time they've kind of gotten a little hard to use, they're frozen up a little bit, and I've broken a couple of handles off and had to replace some. So I really wish I would have gone with Schedule 80, and I really wish I would have bought a little better quality valve like a Spears valve. One of the other things I got horribly wrong was I used purple primer. The purple primer is nice because you can physically see that it's primed, and it does a nice job cleaning the surface to be glued together. The bad news is it looks really ugly, and you can achieve similar effects with clear primer or clear cleaner for your PVC and a clear glue. Going back, I would have done it differently and used the clear products. So there we go. I thought it was kind of cool to take a tour of my own personal plumbing so you guys could see what I did well and what I didn't do well when I plumbed my own system. And I'm happy to share that with you guys. One other thing that I forgot to mention, I used some drain line where I should have used pressure line, so that probably wasn't ideal, but it's holding together. So for good plumbing, I think it's really important that you use high quality parts like the Spears valves. Plan ahead, dry fit, make sure everything lines up before you glue. When you glue, use the clear PVC primer or PVC cleaner and use clear PVC glue. And if you want those letters to not show, just turn the pipe so you don't see them facing the front. Really easy tip, but it'll make your plumbing look that much better. So really, plumbing a system isn't as hard as it looks. So thank you for watching this episode of PGSaquatics. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you back here on the next one.